Let's see if we can get this working. Yep, that seems to be working. And then let's check the live here. Cool. That all is good. Oof. Okay. So, the plan now. It's been almost an entire week since I last streamed. I've just been working on the video and then spending time thinking about the design. Kind of been procrastinating because it's kind of, I don't know, I was a bit hesitant to jump into making this project because, I don't know, I was getting a bit nervous about everything. But we're back on track. So the next plan is to write up the official design docs for this idea down here and evaluate those design documents and see if they still meet my non-negotiables, if they still meet my design outcomes and still meet my scope. And if I think that it's a fun game with it after being scripted out properly in design documents and it's still within scope, I think we move ahead with it. The more I've been thinking of the weekend and the week, the more I've been thinking that I don't know if this does meet those things, but I'm going to carry on with the design documents because I reckon I can get a pretty solid set of design documents in a day or two. And if at the end of that I decide throw it all away, nothing's working, it doesn't fit that design criteria, then what I need to do is probably take this idea, the Gacha Zombie Hunter. I've had a few ideas of how to make this better already, just over, once you start thinking about a game. And so doing this idea and expanding that out properly. But for the moment, for today, let's focus on this idea and see if we can get our design docs down, get it all looking organized and nice. Yeah, that's the plan. Okay, so we've already started that a little bit. Last time we did actually do a little bit of this inside of Notion in our personal projects in here. So the elevator pitch at the moment is something like a Groundhog Day loop where the player explores and interacts with a medieval village trying to survive the day. Explore different narrative pathways and experience different endings to the day based on your choices and the roll of the dice. Hello, Alma. So, what we need to figure out, what am I doing? I'm designing an indie game, and today we are going to be taking the initial sort of outline that I made on the last stream and converting it into proper design documents and seeing if it still sounds fun, still looks good, and it's something I want to pursue. I'm trying to make this game finish the dev cycle in like 2 months, so it's got to be a pretty tight idea. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So these were all the areas we came up with last time, and there's quite a lot of interactions. I gave up with the minor ones in the end. There's quite a lot of objects that you need to think about how they all interact and what you can do and whether that's all going to be fun. Maybe it's time to convert these into a nice table, or do I need to think about the systems? Let's think about systems first. When working on design docs, it's always best to start as abstract as possible and get more specific. If I start designing the individual items, like the merchant's wagon or the messenger or whatever, I think that we're gonna have an issue that I might not have the groundwork done. You know, you want to start with the foundations. So choices. First, let's think about choices and interactions. Interactions are linked to a physical object or character. Interactions pause game time, as the whole game is going to be based over a day. If I want a 30, let's say a 1 hour playthrough for an entire day. Do I want 1 hour? 1 hour's quite long, to be honest. Maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour, 30 minutes. Let's just do the math quickly. So, calculator. If I want time, 1 world day lasts X minutes. Lasts, let's say, 60 minutes. So it's just 24 times. So 24x speed. Right? I think it's 12 hours. So 12. I have the same watch as my cousin. Oh yeah, I mean, Casio F91W is a classic. It costs like £10 on Amazon. It's great. 1 world day time lasts, let's say, more like 45 minutes. Or 30. Because when you're pausing and making the choices and doing the dice roll, I want the playthrough to be about 45 minutes to an hour. So really the day should be quite quick. I want you to experience it a couple times before you get bored. And it shouldn't be a game that you play for more than like an hour or two anyway. So let's say one day lasts 30 minutes. Well, 1 day time, brackets, dawn to dusk. Last 30 minutes means time runs at around 24x speed. At the end of the day, signals the generation of the epilogue. Epilogue is like going to be like a nice little bit of text. Oh, thanks, man. It should be fun. We're very much at the beginning of the process. So if you subscribe now, you'll be an early adopter to the game. Interactions pause game time. Interactions contain 1 or 2 choices. Interactions will be locked or leavable. Yeah. Choices have 2 possible outcomes. I've done most of the systems on already actually last time. Inventory. I think I don't want you to get loads of items. I don't want in a game where you've got like 20 items, 30 items that you're like juggling around. I think really over the course of playthrough, you should be picking up like maybe 3 to 5 things. It should be a little bit more of a walking, reading sim rather than like actiony. What I need to the decisions I need to make are like let's start making notes of decisions. Decisions. I need to decide things like perspective, input, systems. I don't really want any sort of like skill in execution. So I'm wondering, I've never done player navigation systems before, but would it be better if we had like the world, like we had the screen, your monitor, and you had the character, you have like a view of like the world with some buildings and stuff, rocks and a pathway, you know, a fountain or whatever. If you were here, could you just click here and your character would path? Like, I've never done click and move mechanics before, but I'm wondering if that would be a better input system. You can then click and move and then click to interact rather than, I was imagining it being, you know, WASD movement which is just the easiest to do, but I don't actually know if that's the best for this game. It's probably not. I think a click navigation-based system would be better. And we're going to have to build a navigation system anyway, because our NPCs that move will need to have pathfinding anyway. So we're going to need to do pathfinding. So I think that that's probably a better way. Choices have two possible inputs. Inventory. So if we do like this is our like high level, and we just do like a little system section. Core mechanics. What would I call that? I don't know. Design pillars, experimentation humor. I don't know this elevator pitch. This elevator pitch is bad, but I'll figure that out. Why is it dark and thin? But I see it's light there. Because I'm in England? Does it say I'm in the Philippines on my stream? Okay, if we just do a little quick page for systems design. Oh, yeah. That's why it's different, because I'm not in the Philippines. If we do a toggle heading, actually, let's just do. This is a bad outlining. This is design bad here. So in here, we have interactions, and we'll just do a quick page. Interaction design. And then choices slash page choices design. And then items inventory, we'll do a page for inventory design. And then time doesn't need a page, it's just time. So the first thing we do is copy this, because this is going to be the same. Slash heading to overview. Interactions, pause game time. So, to them, slash heading to. Okay, sleep well, Armor. Thanks for stopping by. I hope to see you again. Interaction. Feedback. No. What do I even know about interactions? I've got this data that I know about them. Interaction. What's it called? What's it called on a Unreal Blueprint when you? Am I going about this all the wrong way? I don't know. This feels wrong what I'm doing right now. I think I've actually got the systems design pretty well done with just the overviews. Like they're pretty simple systems. I think I don't need to go that deep. I think I don't need to go that deep. I think what would be good is if I make some mock-up UI, just so it's clearer to my brain when I see things. So let's just do that. In Photoshop or just in Paint? Let's do it in Photoshop. Let's do it properly. I'm not sure what's on my Photoshop, so I'll just do my camera for a second. I'll do. So if we just choose like a mid-tone, and then or maybe just a little bit lighter. In black, we'll do a box that can, well, let's just say this is our screen. This is a screen size, right? Yeah. So this is our screen. At the point of interacting, the choices come up, which is going to be 2 boxes at the bottom. Let's make sure it's black and it's a fill and up the size. So if it's something like this and you have a box, and we do a quick, oh no, I don't want to do that. Choice A. And then item, and then what am I doing? We're just trying to formalize what I was doing last time. Choice A, item with just a quick little up arrow. Down arrow. I think when it's an item, the way it'll work is it'll just have the up arrow and that'll open a list of valid items. So, and will other items have quantities? So like if I try and yes, so actually let's do it a different way. Let's do item with a button, item, and then num. Okay. That's already making more sense. Or like, let's just do n for num. Do num, and then here we'll do a little arrow up, arrow down, and then we have our odds, which is x. Let's do it simply. X out of y. So here are the odds calculations. So a choice will need to have a calculator for lots of different things, I guess, and we just hide this part of the num UI if the item can't have multiple, if it's not a stackable item. So this is what I mean. When, as you're going through actually being specific, I suddenly realize, oh, okay, so a choice, like a choice data item needs to know what its name is. What its name is, valid items to be used, and then that item needs to know, am I stackable, am I not stackable, can I have a num or can I not have a num, and then that should then affect odds. How will I structure the... That's a good question. How should I structure the odds calculation? Because I'm liking this right now. This is feeling good. And then, like, if you imagine this was one thing, and you just duplicate it in group, duplicate, T, and then over here you have choice B, num x out y. So you choose between your two choices, and then maybe you also have then a little another box which can go here, which could just be leave, or like a back arrow. No, leave arrow. This all makes sense to me. So, what does a choice need to know based on what we've just written here? So a choice needs to know possible outcomes. That is quite an abstract thing. Choices. Selected choices are tested with a dice roll. Story states. So implied to player. So that the success and fail outcome is fixed in the code, but it's not displayed to the player. Like if your choice is kick, guard, there's an implied, if the dice roll works, you kick him. If your dice roll fails, you miss kicking him, or something like that. Or like both of them, you kick him. One of them where you kick him and win the fight. One of them where you kick him and lose the fight. So this is what I mean with this game idea that I've been thinking over the weekend. Like it gets exponentially more complicated. It is really interesting and I really like it, but it just gets more and more complicated. Because for example, if you have a choice, if choices have like a knock-on effect, like I don't want branching choices really. Like let's say you have choice A, choice B, and this one's stab guard, and this one's bribe guard. If the bribe fails, you have an outcome. But if the stab fails, there's another outcome. But it's okay, let's say kick guard and bribe guard. If you kick the guard, the success fail could also be like you miss or you succeed. If you succeed in kicking the guard, you then get another choice of like fight the guard or run away. Because then you start getting and it starts getting too complicated, I think. I don't know. This idea sometimes has been hurting my brain. What can I do to... I guess what I should do is finish defining this choice thing and the inventory thing, and then start on the map and specific choices. Because if I have all the choices designed, then I'll know that they fit within the rules and they don't need to be branching to be fun. Yeah. Oh, this... This whole game idea is like, it's very cerebral and very, like, if you don't get the design right, you're fucked. Hey, Popstar. So it's quite intimidating for me to do this design, but we'll keep working through it. We'll do it. Okay, let's get back to our Notion page. So a choice. So here we have then choices is one thing, and then we have a little subheading which is going to be not comment. We do a new bullet point which is odds. How are the odds calculated? Yeah, I don't recognize you. You're new to what? New to me or new to life? We need to know base odds for a choice. A choice also has then item multiplier. Thanks for subscribing. Crazy. Thank you very much. Item multiplier. Then like story event multiplier. And is story event a multiplier or story event just like an access to a choice? Maybe it is a multiplier. I think it should be a multiplier. I think it's more interesting as a multiplier. Let's do that. The base odds, item multiplier, story event multiplier. So, thank you, Bobster. Items, item data. items need to know name, amount, stackable, then class. So item multiplier, class, and then class multiplier. So what are the different classes of items? Because I think we need to have like weapon class, if you want to hit or attack or stab someone with something. Then like a currency class. And then maybe like a consumable class. Because there's quite often like give, drink, or like I think the inn is going to be quite an important element to the world. Like the inn is one of the coolest locations. So I think the ability to give people drink is important. So possible classes are like definitely we need weapon. Then we need definitely need currency, and we need consumable. And like I guess if your choice is, for example, let's say your choice is in choice A, we say that choice is going to be called poison. I just spell poison. I always get it wrong. Let's say like But then for some people, I think some characters like a bribe could also be a drink. I guess maybe a choice can have multiple classes. Class array, class multiplier. What does that mean? Oh no, so an item can't be an array, but a base odds choices choices data needs to have a name, a story. What am I going to call this? Story event. It needs to have valid item classes, none, one, or a group. Because some choices might just have odds based on a story event, not on item classes. So story event of self, and then it needs to know an array of story event multipliers, which will be like a map of story event x multiplier. The choices need to know their name, the story event, valid classes for items, class multiplier, which is like how powerful is this one in here. So let's say currency, you have a single gold coin being 1. If you have 5 gold coins, that's 5. But you could also maybe have like the jewels of the noble that you've stolen, and that could be worth like 10 or 100 or something. So this is like value of item in odds. So in the odds, we have base odds, item multiplier, story event multiplier. So in the story event multiplier, that's brought from the choice. So you have a story event that can have happened or not happened, and then a multiplier based on if that's happened or not. So for things like, if you want to get help from the witch, if you've burnt down the church, then that's then that's good. Yeah, this is starting to seem more reasonable. That's what I mean. Like, you need to sometimes just like pass through the process of developing and making and thinking of ideas to get through like the stage of like, oh, there's too much to do. It's panic. How am I going to get this done? Because that's the kind of mode I'm in right now. Is the panic mode. It's not the best mode to be in, but we'll deal with it. I think probably today I'll be opening up a new project. I think it's time for me to actually do that. Speaking of, what version of Unreal do I actually have on right now? If we just go Epic Games Launcher, let's have a quick check of my Unreal versions because I think let's do a little bit of clearing up. Wait, what is my... Why is my library so small? And then let's just add a new Unreal version. 5.8 we're on now. I haven't updated ages. Let's also install 5.8 because that's what I'll use later. Sure, accept. Let me hide. I don't know what's going to show up here. Accept. Great. So I've got that going. I also don't know why this is so small. Refresh my fab items. Is there... my fab library? Have I like lost things? Because I had way more packs of stuff. But maybe this is just all the things that are actually viable with this version of Unreal, maybe? This is like games library, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I'll figure that out later. Anyways, back to this. So, item data, name, amount, stackable. Should stackable be its own thing in item data? Or should stackable just be based on this? Because I think every weapon's going to be unique. Maybe currency is consumable, is stackable. Consumable. I'm already thinking of things like, what if I wanted a specific item? Maybe one class would be like single use or something. Or like story. Yeah, I think having a story item is a good idea because that means like if you have something that's specific to a specific set of people, you can have story, and then I think what will happen is when I click item button and I get shown my inventory with options, it will have, I think the buttons will have like some indicator if they're good for odds or bad for odds, like what their base odd is. So if you interact with the priest and it's like give offering or something, and then you can click on your items and it's story items. If you found the goblet of Jesus Christ or whatever, Fountain of Youth goblet or something, then you can give him that and it'll be like green because like this is a good item for him, or it can be like orange if it's neutral, red if it's really bad odds. Yeah, I like that. Um, I think that the interactions. Hum, 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 hum. Yeah, I want to take a little break from thinking about this because it's stressing me out. So let's have a little look in the. Is there no marketplace here anymore? Samples? Where's the Unreal Marketplace? Am I crazy? Or is it only here now? Is this part of the whole thing? What the frick? Have they completely changed it since I've... My library. On disk. All assets. Style. Cover. Because this seems to be what the Unreal Marketplace is now. Have they changed it since I got this stuff? Unreal Marketplace. Yeah, they've changed it. Unreal Marketplace is now fab. When was this? Am I so behind? Whatever. I guess they've changed it. It seems like I've lost a whole bunch of stuff then because in my Unreal Engine here I had like a lot of packs that I bought and used and stuff, and they just don't seem to be here, which is unfortunate. Yeah. Anyway, we'll figure that out later on, I guess. If we type in like medieval village. I don't know why I'm going down the medieval route. I don't know, it's just the kind of classic aesthetic that I like. I think I want it pretty stylized. And I want... There's a lot of characters, so we need to figure out some kind of way to do that. I mean, this looks great. Yeah, I like the look of this. Oh, it's got a whole... Oh. It's all been changed, this. It's all new and different. Don't know how I feel about that. Like, this is the kind of thing I probably need for my pack. Can I look at the thing? I mean, this is a very good set of resources. I would definitely think I'll be aided by this. It's not too crazy expensive either. So, what is their descriptions? Third person. Why do we? This is so AI generated. This feels so AI generated. I don't even know if I want to see the like reviews. Has anyone reviewed any of these? Stylized medieval characters. Oh, this is in this person. Oh, I don't like this. Characters. I get some like super crazy high poly ones. Let's have a look. Oh, no, I've right clicked in, it's opened up in this thing. Wow, look at these knights. Are they all on horses? Oh, you can have them off horses as well. That's great. Medieval village NPC. I mean, this is pretty useful. But I think I want it super stylized to make it simple and also to make it more performant and run better. So all this is just useless. Stylized video characters. Wait, I don't want to. Oh, I really hate this new function. Stylized. Like this is more the level of stylized that I want. But is this the same people that make all the other low poly ones, or is this a new person? Because I do like this style. I've used this style before of asset packs, but I don't know if this is the normal. Who is the person that does that? Is it like Polygon? I swear there's this person's packs are always really good. Whichever studio this is, but they're fucking expensive. Because they definitely have a medieval pack, right? I thought I owned this. That's what I mean about my packs being gone. Let's do Polygon Medieval. Dungeon pack. Who knows? I don't know where it is. I swear they had one, but let's leave that for the moment. Let's dive back into design docs. So, in our Life More Higgs, we've got our areas and their actors. And then let's create a new tab here. Does that work? Let me minimize this and go here. And on interactions, let's start building this page out. Because an interaction level area, and then in the page we'll have the two choices. So if we open this high peak and we say this is the first one, let's create a template which will be nothing here, and I'm going to call template interactions. I don't know about duplicate every day or whatever, but choi/heading toggle heading 2 choice 1 / toggle heading 2 choice 2, and then let's add a property on the thing which is tick box tick select checkbox, that's what it's called, and we'll name this locked interaction question mark. So level area locked interaction, new page which we'll just name like interaction. So inside of the choices we need to know base odds. No, I don't think we need to fill up those things yet. Base odds item class. So choice name. What do we actually need to know right now in the design docs? Probably we need to know if it's one or two choices, the choice name and success. So in fact, these probably shouldn't be toggle headings. Let's do this. Just change this into turn into just a heading to choice one, which is success, failure. So what happens when you succeed? What happens when you fail? And then just duplicate this choice two. That's all we probably need to know right now. The odds and exact items, and then maybe here do like item multi-select, and we'll name this item classes. And here we'll do a none weapon currency consume story. So story would name do like pink, and it will be default none. Actually, we don't need a none class because we can just have nothing in there. Empty. Actually, we should probably do a none class just so it's clear that we've selected something in the table, even if that is none. Default none, level area. So item data we won't fill out yet. Item multiplier story. The base odds and multipliers, we'll figure that out later. For the moment, let's just get all the choices, all the interactions done, and then start figuring out how we're going to weave those all together into a cool, interconnected world. Yeah, I like that. So we just take this and delete it and go new page, interaction, and we name this the first interaction. No, not here. This areas and their actors. Let's say you have the beggar. Beggar? Is that how you say beggar? Beggar. How do you spell beggar? Oh, it is. I thought it was always ER, but that's just because I'm dyslexic. So let's say we've got beggar, and we'll change this to beggar. Oh no. Rename. Name. Beggar. And I need to add a property to this, which is going to be interaction type, which is going to be a single select, manual. Interaction type will be person, or it can be object. Person, let's do in blue, and object we'll do in orange, because objects are wood, people are blue, I guess. So interaction type, item class is locked interaction. It shouldn't be a locked interaction, I think, in the streets. Okay. I'm just thinking, like, how to go about this. Oh, this game design just... It's hurting my brain a bit. Like, is it going to be fun? I don't know. I'm losing confidence in it with every day that I try and work on it. Like the fun ideas and the chance-based gameplay. Like I do like all those things. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, does the whole concept work? And I think if I'm not confident in it, I should pivot early. Or is it that I just need to push through this difficult bit and then I'm going to have this brilliant game at the end because it was difficult when I pushed through? It's really hard to say. Really hard to say. Hmm. Okay, let's go here to our main page, do back to full screen, into our design phase. Don't think about decisions right now. That's not important. Let's think about up here maybe. Day-night cycle. Don't need this diagram. That's not useful. These diagrams are quite useful actually. For this though, this diagram's quite useful. So if we say storylines, what are the fun storylines we can do? So the main storyline is bandits spotted. At dusk, the bandits attack. So that's the main storyline of the village this day. So the different endings for this can be that I've thought of already. Can be bandits repelled. Bandits destroy the village. Destroy the village. So this is your epilogue. So this won't be seen on screen, I don't think. Hello, Funny Hat. So let's do epilogue in a different colour, the cyan. Bandits destroy the village. Bandits repelled by the garrison. So right now, I am working on an indie game as a solo dev for the first time. I've got a base idea, which is a story chance-based game where you try and have different endings that are fun for the player to explore. Right now, I'm actually getting very stressed by the actual base concept, whether I believe in the base concept, whether I think it's going to work. And so that's kind of stressing me out right now. But we're trying to push through and see if we can find the fun. Yeah, I've got a good PC. It's great. I really like Unreal Engine. I'm not someone who knows any actual programming languages. The programmers I've worked with in the past have dealt with anything like in scripting, and so the visual scripting in Unreal is like, it's what I do. It's what I like about Unreal is visual scripting. Like, sure, it's nice that the graphics look quite good and the lighting systems are fun and it's easy to like get all those things set up. But the number one thing for me is blueprints and visual scripting. I find that very enjoyable and very intuitive. Bandits repelled by the garrison. Bandits poisoned before they arrive, and bandits smitten by God. Those are the outcomes for the attack at dusk. So the end of the day, the bandits attack at dusk, and you can get 4 different epilogues depending on your choices. What to do with bandits. I think that there are going to be other outcomes you can get and other storylines that you can finish before you do that. Maybe There's another one which is like uh, bandits bribed question mark. I think that should fail. I think if you try and get the noble to pay the bandits, that you die and you lose. I think that I don't like. I don't like. It feels too easy to just bribe them and go. So this is the baseline story with its 4 main epilogues. Bandits take you away from your family. I think in the story you're turning up as a stranger in this village, but maybe you could do something like steal the nobleman's daughter, and then like trade her, like give her to the bandits. Be like, you can take the daughter, but you leave now. Yes. I think that's funnier than just because it's supposed to be a silly game. You're supposed to be able to make silly outcomes happen. So let's try bandits bribed with the noble's daughter. I don't know if I like it morally or socioeconomically. I don't know if I like it. Yeah, funny horror game was one of the initial ideas we had at the beginning of the process. But it's just on my development timeline. What are you on about? You're crazy. But before we start getting too in the weeds on this one, let's think about the other smaller storylines. So we have the cat or the imprisoned storyline. So if you do something to get yourself put in jail, there's going to be various things you can fail or do to get imprisoned, and then that will have an outcome. One of the outcomes is going to be... I don't want that. I want the... Where's my type? Not type like this. There'll be another outcome, which is if you're imprisoned, the bandits can destroy the village. Maybe they can also get repelled by the garrison if you're imprisoned. So if you have done something to make the garrison good, yeah, exactly that kind of thing where you can try and get the bandits bribed with the noble's daughter outcome. Yeah, maybe he's not actually. But I don't want to. No, because I'm not going to do anyone that looks like Epstein because I don't have the artistic skill to do that or the scope. But more, I think, if you're trying to, like, what's the emotional impact of stealing the daughter and bribing her with the nobles? There's like the whole one. It's like the train track moral conundrum, right? Where you can either sacrifice the daughter and save the village, or save the daughter and sacrifice the village. But I don't think that it should be it's not a moral compass game. It's a fun, silly game where silly things happen. So I think we should try and avoid having too much like serious moral choices. Will you do this or will you do that? Oh no, you're a terrible human being. That's not the kind of game we are making. Cool. What other... So the outcomes here are going to come by basically gaining favor with different factions. So you have the get garrison together. You have the help the witches. You have pray to God, and you have I haven't figured out art direction. I want it to be relatively pretty, so I don't know if that's gonna suit it, but we can come over that when we get to art direction. Pray to God. At the moment, none of these storylines actually involve the inn, which I think is the coolest location. So maybe in help the garrison, you need to like get the commander who's like a drunken to sober up or something, or get him more drunk or something. I don't know. We have the nobles party. We have kidnap the daughter. I think we should make the daughter a real brat. I don't want sympathy for the daughter, you know? Trading the daughter is seen as a good thing. I think that's key to the storyline here. So kidnap the daughter, nobles party, pray to God, help the witches, get the garrison together. I think what else? So get the garrison together needs to involve a few things, which is either get them paid. Then there's get soldiers paid. So I'm thinking that the soldiers are irritated with their duties, they're not getting paid by the noble, and they're not going to protect the town. They're going to let the town get ransacked because the nearby garrison isn't getting paid. Then you have like the other one, which is you need to maybe like get the fearful commander drunk. So you have a commander of the garrison who's like an absolute wimp, and if you get him drunk enough, he has the. If you get him just the right level of drunk, he has the courage to stop the attackers. So you need to get into a situation where you're in a room with him, which probably takes some lucky steps, and then you need to get him drunk enough. So let's say these two go into here, and then get the garrison together takes you to bandits repelled. I think imprisoned is too vague right now. All these. Can we like move these individually? I guess we don't need to know this. This is not important. This is not important here. Bandits attack at dusk, and then we'll just make a little arrow like this to say that these go to the endings, and then we can figure out our endings from there. So to get repelled by the garrison, you can do that from the imprisoned storyline, or you can do it from the get the garrison together storyline, which have you getting there from getting the soldiers paid or whatever. So getting money can be done through the nobles party by stealing stuff or by winning at the gambling. So the other key interaction is going to be the gambling / loan earning cash in. That's going to be a whole storyline of different ways you can earn cash the inn through like the loan shark and the gambling. Let's do gambling storyline. And the gambling can either, it's a bandit spotted, should be all the way over on the left. Gambling can either get the soldiers paid or get you imprisoned. Cool. So help the witches. The different storylines that can get you to help the witches is burn the church and save the cat. So those two storylines help the witches. And help the witches gives you poison, which gives you the bandits poison before they arrived. So you get the witch's pot. You probably also can't just wander into the bandits camp and poison them. You probably need some other things to make that storyline work. Like maybe you get them drunk, or maybe you bribe them to become one of them or something. There might be a two ways to get into the bandits camp as well. So let's make that a new storyline. Enter the bandits camp is a different storyline. So poison takes you to there, which then also will take you through to poison. Right, thanks, Funny Hat. I like some of your ideas. So yeah, come back. Hopefully it's fun to just see someone going through some ideas. Enter the bandits camp. Is this? So pray to God is going to just be a simple bandit smitten by the god. And pray to God is going to involve a few things, which is burn the witches. Oh, why can't I spell today? As if like today, normally I can. Is it witches? Witches. Oh, it's witches. There we go. Jesus Christ. My dyslexia coming out full force. So if you burn the witches, that means when you pray to God, the bandits get smitten. So there needs to be a new witch flies into your house. That sounds like a lot of artwork. Confront the bandits. I guess there should be another one. There's two storylines here when the bandits attack. Either you confront them or you run away. Run away. Or you are imprisoned. So there are like 3 locations that you can be at the end of the story, which is you run away, i.e. you're not where the bandits are. No, I don't like there should be, yeah. Oh, this game is so convoluted. Why did I choose this game idea? No, I'm having fun. I like this. It's just more thinking work. So kidnap the daughter. I do like the idea of you opening your game inventory and finding the nobleman's daughter in your inventory, like as an item. I find that really funny. As a game designer. But already these storylines are getting quite. Oh, long press unlock. Don't unlock. We got storylines. Bandits attack at dusk. Confront the bandits. Run away. Or in some state, like either you're drunk or you're gambling. Like there should be different things. Like if this action is going on whilst when the ending happens, you get different endings. So in Bandits Destroy the Village, there should be a number of different ones of those, which is gambling, drunk, praying, fail, and then yeah, witches? Question mark. So there's different ways that different states you can be in when the bandits destroy the village, or confront brackets fail. Because it's in world time. Like I like the idea of someone rushing back to the town square to find the bandits, but the bandits then, have already entered the town, or yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the ending of the game, I'm not sure how we're going to structure that yet. I mean, now, Funny Hat, we're just getting too political. And like current affairs can be funny to integrate a bit into your game, but it makes it it can date your game a lot. Like I've seen some funny games with references to things that just like don't make sense anymore. I've done that before as well. I want to get a drink. I need to think more. I need some brain power juice. This has now become my official brain power juice drink. The new flavors of Red Bull are so good. Okay. The two flavors that are good, I found, because I've never been a fan of Red Bull originally, but the citrus zest is good. This is this one, and then the June berry or whatever it's called, the blue one, like the dark blue one. That one's really good as well. Those are two I'd recommend. Of course, sugar free because we're healthy. I guess the problem I'm having with this game idea is it where is the fun? The fun is seeing the funny outcomes of things that you do. Isolation Rebel. Oh, I don't think I've had that one. Is that just like a blue raspberry thing or like a limey one? I don't know. I'll see if it's in the shop when I next go. I'll get that. Because if it's about reaching the end in the best state, then not necessarily like the timeline and using real time. I don't know. It's iced vanilla berry. Vanilla drinks, I don't think that's my thing. If I see it, I'll try it. For you, Funny Hat, for you. But I'm not so sure. One of my personal design philosophies with games is you need to figure out what your fun is early on, and then you need to make sure that anything you implement adds to that fun. And like all these individual decisions do seem fun to me. I like them. I guess the problem I'm having is is it fun when you hook these all together? Is having no team at the moment. I'm solo deving. If you're talking about me. If you hook them all together, it's quite like a high concept game. And is it actually better to have this as an open world set of choices? Or make the playthrough shorter and make people try and experience the different things? Yeah. Like, let's think like through. Someone opens up the game, they get the main menu, they press new game. It opens up with a little line of narrative. You've entered the village, and then, alert, alert! There's a messenger that runs in saying, "Warning everyone, the bandits have been spotted. They're going to be here at dusk." And everyone's like, "Oh no!" But then why is everyone else not trying to solve the problem? Why is everyone else just going about their day? Maybe you arrive and then someone tells you alone, the messenger arrives and says, "Oh, I've got to run, but make sure everyone knows that there's bandits passing through. They're going to be arriving at dusk." And so you have this information, the rest of the characters don't. And then you have to go around this village and try and find a way to beat the bandits using the village and the choices you can make. That makes sense for me. But is limiting one choice per interaction a bad idea? Should I be actually focusing on chains of choices? Yeah, I mean, it is kind of that vibe. I don't mind a stereotypical vibe to open it up if I'm going to subvert it a bit and do fun things later on. The problem with, I mean, multiple choices I like. It's about, do I chain the choices? So, for example, if we have like you uh, do something and you have choice A or choice B, and you choose A and you see the result of that, is the result of that just a because then there's two things, which is success, failure. Um, but then if failing gives you a new set of choices, then you have A, B, which then also have a success, failure, success, failure. Do you see how like the expansive options of things creates problems? Which is why I wanted to keep it to just this. So where you have A, B choice, and you have a success and a failure for each of those choices, and then that then sets states for things later on. Where are you making this? I'm making it in Unreal just because that's what I know. But everything else about it, I haven't really decided yet. Art style, like it could work top down, it could work isometric, it could work fucking third person. Like there's lots of different ways you can do it. But I'm probably gonna be top down or isometric just to keep the perspective simple and the art simple. But it could also be like a 2D card game. Like there's you could do all sorts of things with this. But I want to make sure that the mode of going through the story is entertaining first, and I can figure out those things later on. So, burn the witch, help the witches. What I'm trying to figure out is it fun to play just getting to the end? Like, on the small scale, you have to make each decision interesting and have the outcomes be funny. But I think you also need those to then not be too chained. Like, so for example, if someone enters the village and runs straight for the witch's hut, they enter and they go straight to the witches, and their choices all rely on them having already saved, like, here, help the witches. If help the witches relies on you burning the church and saving the cat, then if you get there and you've not done those things, it kind of feels unrewarding. Like, do I want people to, like, let's say you fail something, is there some choices that are retryable? So if you say, like, um, buy the poison. Let's take the witches for an example. So let's say that the witch has two options, which is buy poison or like what's the other one? I don't know what the other choice is. Maybe the witch only has one choice. You just get the poison off her. You buy the poison. should the cost of the poison go down with if you've done other things? So if you buying poison, if you offer her like 5 gold pieces, can't we play it? I'll see. If you buy, so if we look back to this diagram, we have our item number and then our chance. So if you buy the poison with 5 gold pieces, you have like a 1 in 10 chance to get it. But if you've helped the cat and burnt the church, 5 gold pieces suddenly becomes like a 8 out of 10 chance. I think we should make the gameplay loop small, like the day short, maybe even less than 30 minutes, you know, like literally like 15 to 30 minutes, and make these choices non-retryable. I think that's more fun, is trying a bunch of things, making it more roguelike than like expansive story game. I think that's more fun. I think make these choices one-time uses. It's also much easier to design. Much easier to design if we make them a single-use choice. Make an hour of playing time. Yeah, I think the play time I'd expect for people is about an hour. But I think the initial loop of opening the game, going through the first day, trying some things, and then the bandits destroying the village, that should be like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Something like that. So you can, or maybe even less. You can experience that process of going into the village and shit hitting the fan and everyone dying, and you go, oh, where did I go wrong? And then you try again, and like after 3 or 4 tries, you get a playthrough where you succeed, and you go, oh yeah, nice, I did that, and that's like an hour of gameplay, and then that's sort of how long I'd expect someone to play. It's going to be a cheap game. It's going to be a quick game. It's probably way more work than it's supposed to be for that. But this design is actually interesting to me, whereas some of the games I came up with in the design process weren't particularly interesting to me. They would definitely be more, I think, fun in 5 minutes, but yeah, we'll see. I think this is a good number of outcomes. Yeah. Okay, so at the nobles party, the actions you can take. Yeah. You gotta like spend a lot of time on like I think that the 2 pillars of good indie games are like, or the 3 pillars more, are being very specific about what's fun and what the game is about. Like if it's, you know, make some interesting small unique thing that is cool, and then make sure it feels really good to play. Make it super polished, make it super good, and that's the key. I think that with indie games, you can't try and make things too wide. Otherwise, you can never reach the level of polish where a player can actually play it and not feel like they're playing an indie game, you know? So at the Nobles Party, you can steal stuff, kidnap the daughter. What else can you do at the Nobles Party? Maybe you can steal stuff, brackets. What did I call them? Currency. Because you could then steal stuff and then try and go back to gambling and then get the soldiers pay. Like there are some fun loops here that you can do stuff. I think, or you can like use the loan shark. Loan shark timer for paying back. Then this could be gambling or steal stuff or whatever. Like you could really fuck up your playthrough by going to the loan shark originally. What is this in 2 words? 2 words. You're putting me on the spot there. You're putting me on the spot. 2 words this game is going to be Gambling story. Gambling story. You volunteered to test the game? Thanks, Funny Hat. Well, make sure you subscribe, and I'm sure I'll be doing that through the YouTube. Um, Gambling story is the 2 words. If I did like 3 words, it'd be like silly gambling story. I think you need something in a descriptor in there to say what kind of, because gambling story could sound very depressing. Oh, let's go and talk about addiction. Yeah, I'm gonna program it. I'm a solo dev. I'm gonna be doing everything. Everything. Hopefully, the dev cycle is going to be less than 2 months to get the finished product released. I don't know if that's going to be happening in 2 months, but from ending the design phase into finishing the game, hopefully 8 weeks. But the next week I'm on holiday with my family, so we'll see. Because at the Nobles party, oh wait, that's not the right ugly arrow. You can steal stuff. You can kidnap the daughter, and you can also kidnap. Oh, there's something else. I want to do something else at the Nobles party, maybe. Loan shark. Get money. Okay, so there needs to be a. Yeah, me too. Me too. Which is why I strive to become one. I have become one. Get money. And then you can let's say you can also get chased. The loan shark can chase you, and I guess that's one other outcome for the story we haven't talked about, which is player dies. What happens if someone tries to kill the player? There's a few places where I think you could probably die. Whereas, you know, if you're trying to kidnap the daughter from the Nobles party and you don't escape the right way or whatever. So, get money, get chased. That can go. The getting chased can turn into die or imprison, depending on how you do stuff. So I guess there's also another type of interaction, because at the moment the only interactions that I've been working with in the game is where the like the object is still. I say the player, like the, let's say, loan shark, and then you have the player walks up to them and interacts with them, gets their 2 options, chooses one, and then walks away. That's the only kind of interaction that I've actually been thinking about. But what if there was also the ability to have the loan shark chase the player? So suddenly the player's wandering about, and the loan shark runs up after them and forces an interaction. And then that interaction maybe changes. Ay, ay, ay. I think we might need to have the ability to. Yeah, so I think definitely the loan shark. If you get money from the loan shark, there should be now a timer on your screen. It's like 3 min, where if you don't come back within 3 minutes and pay him, he starts chasing you. And there'll be others. I think that's a good mechanic, because there'll be other times that we use where, like, if you go to the bandits and fail to poison them, the bandits start chasing you. I think that's a pretty baseline mechanic that needs to be done in a game, where a character chases the player and forces an interaction. Because there's no combat, right? There's no, like, oh, you swing your sword kind of stuff. Everything is based on these dice game interactions that happen. It's almost more like a D&D style. So I think there needs to be a way for characters to force an interaction with the player. So that's a new type of mechanic that we hadn't actually discussed yet. Wait, I just put a. There we go. Get chased. So so inside the bandits camp, we're going to need a few options for like what you do there. You can poison their food. You can. There needs to be an idea of also spotted, like if a patrol, if we're going to be doing any of that stuff. Oh, see that's the problem with this game. I get excited for a bit, and then I realize how many more things need to happen for this game to work, and I'm just like, oh, can I make that work? I don't know. But for the moment, let's believe in myself. So there are different start points for different stories. So save the cat. We haven't talked about the smitten by God stuff. So burn the witches. We can also have maybe someone else cares about the dog. Who cares about the dog? Oh, we haven't talked about the farmers. Oh my god. Maybe the farmers are not an interesting storyline. Maybe we just cut them. So maybe we don't even have the dog. Maybe we just have the cat. I don't think there's a point of the dog right now. Get the garrison together at the moment also is very vague. We need to have some more specific things. So doing these two things helps the witches. What else can you... So praying to God only works... pay the priest. So when the bandits come, you'll have a few different options to do, which is like either the garrison's there because you've helped them, so they're there, so they get repelled. If the garrison's not there and you're there, then you get like some choices. Maybe that's like the one place we have like a 4-choice thing, where it's like fight, bribe, pray, something else. Maybe 3 choices, I don't know. There's definitely something in there that's fun. So these are pretty small. So kidnap the daughter can then go to here. I don't know how we'll signpost some of these things. Like, it'd be pretty shit if, like, at the beginning of the game they say, oh, bandits are coming, and they love noblemen's daughters. Yeah. But we're going to really need to make the nobleman's daughter horrible. Otherwise, kidnapping her makes me feel kind of bad. Using her to trade for the villagers' lives. So we probably need to do something like make her, I don't know, kill a puppy or something, so that people don't feel bad for her. Maybe the nobles' party, there's like a dog fighting pit, and you can save the dogs. I think there should be something about, because there's save the cat, which I like. So where do you get stuff to burn? There needs to be somewhere you can get stuff to burn things with. Probably in the loose stuff. Out in the world, there should be somewhere. Like, if you... I guess the smithy would have stuff to burn. But I think these storylines are boring. These storylines are boring. Boring. Currently, this isn't very exciting. Inn's good. I really like the inn. Like, the ability to, like, earn money, spend money, try and figure out some route to paying the garrison. That's good. This is a good little mini narrative. This is a good little mini narrative. I like this one as well. The burn the church, help the witches stuff, I like. Get the garrison together, I like. The drunk commander, I like. The Praying to God one I like. The Nobles Party I like. I want something to do with a dog. And I want something to do with... I guess the garrison will have a few things inside it. Maybe you can train. Maybe if you've like beaten the... You trained at the garrison and you have a higher chance of beating the bandits or something. Unsure. So this is a main story event. This is a main story event. These things that just happen no matter what the player does. So there will need to be a system of characters changing their choices. So for example, with the loan shark, we have two choices, which is borrow or return. But if you fail the timer, the borrow is no longer available and it changes with like fight. You fight the loan shark or you return the money. I also like the idea of if you have like coin and then you do like 5, you have, let's say, like a 3 out of 6 because you owe 10 or something. And if you up this to like 7, it goes to like 4 out of 6. So your chance of returning the coin and not being killed goes up. But you can actually try and return less. I like that idea. So there needs to be a case of like the loan shark knows, oh, I'm in the chase state, so don't show borrow, show fight. There needs to be like a story event based choosing which choices. So each interaction will only have 2 choices, but some interactions might change their choices depending on story state, which is not uncomplicated, but I think is the only way to go about it. Because I think we need to have some level of depth to this mechanic, and that is something that needs to happen. Okay. I think that's all making sense. So, are there any other storyline ideas that I want to include? I want a save the dogs, which is going to be at the Nobles Party. There's going to be dog fight. Nobles Party has another thing, which is the dog fight, where you can save the dogs or gambling brackets make money. And only from saving the dogs can you then kidnap the daughter, maybe. I think that makes more sense. So the daughter of the noble is running a dogfighting ring for her like birthday party or something. Like, oh, my little baby is doing what she loves, dogfighting. And then if you save the dogs, the daughter runs off in like a fuss, and so you can go kidnap her. But if you don't save the dogs, she's at the party, so you can't kidnap her. Yeah, I think that like when you interact with the daughter, you can either like you can just try and kidnap her. That's the only option, and that odds just goes up and down depending on where she is, and yeah, that's it. So if she's in her rooms, like kidnapping the daughter is like a high chance. If yeah, so we also need a this is getting very complicated. I think we need a what do I call this? Like a spotted NPC perception system. We need that. We're also going to need a NPC chase system. Brackets forced interaction. I think you should have the ability to kill people. So, for example, there might be a few guards in the nobleman's home that patrol around an area, and so you can interact with them. They can chase you, and either you bribe them or you can fight them, and then like if you fight them and kill them, maybe their bodies just disappear. Maybe it's too much. I think it gets too complicated if we start having, even in our like one situation where you have the, let's say you have the most simple system of like this. They don't really make sense, but we have like the party and the rooms. So you save the dogs, the daughter runs off to her room, and so you then come through, but there's a guard that patrols around here. And so if he spots you, he chases you and interacts with you, and you can either pay him to bribe or you can kill him. I think if we start having like a system of like, oh, there's now a body on the floor bleeding out, you know, oh, I'm sad I'm dead, and you then go to the daughter, if another guard, like the idea of like multiple guards and perception of like, oh, the person, that's all too complicated. The perception system will only be a character perceiving the player. A character will have a patrol points, and if they see the player, they run after them. And I think once you're spotted, the NPCs will chase you forever until they reach you. And that should be pretty quick, I reckon. So, for example, with the loan shark, if you are in the inn when your timer runs out, he'll just instantly chase you, right? But if the timer runs out and you're not in the inn, you've gone off somewhere else, maybe he starts patrolling around the inn. So you then can't use the inn again unless you fight him or whatever. So yes, we'll need a simple NPC perception system. And I want to keep it very simple. Probably just like literally radius or cone visual thing. And the more I'm thinking about this game, the more I think that it should be WASD walking around the environment. Yeah. That all makes sense, I think. That all makes sense. It's just a lot. It's getting more and more. And I don't know what Unreal pack I'm going to use to make this game work. I think I want to try and use as much as I can, like just a simple pack. I don't want to spend loads of time on asset creation. I think it's going to be a lot of time just spent in making these systems. So if we think about our design docs then, as we've developed, interactions, one or two choices. I think this is, yeah, these are fine. Choice is fine. Time is fine. Let's make a new one for like slash toggle heading. Is it toggle heading 2? What is this? Toggle heading 3. Let's change this into toggle heading 3 then. And we'll name this characters. So characters will have data is a name, choices, name, interaction, choices based on story, events, or fixed. other things a character can have is perception and patrol. So they have a perception, they have a patrol, or they are just in a location doing a thing. Yeah. Okay. So what are other story things that we want to experience? Or is this enough? I think this is probably more than enough. I think you need to have some way to get something to burn something. So burn the church and burn the witches needs to be... Maybe you have like... not get money. Like the... Buy oil? Like behind or to the side of the church and to the side of the witches, there's like a log pile, and each of the log piles you interact with you can burn. So you could actually burn both of them if you wanted to. Just burn the witches and the church, and then you have to figure out some other way to do it. But how do you burn them? Do you buy oil from someone? Do you get matches? Do you learn a fire spell or something? I don't fucking know. I think buying oil is fine. Because I think that more uses for money is good. Because a lot of these things have to do with gaining money and spending money. And then a few places where you might have to fight and kill people. And, you know, there can be different places where you can buy or get weapons. I think that's a pretty simplistic thing to do. Like, at the inn, you could steal a spoon and that can be a weapon. Or you can steal the magic sword from somewhere, that can be a weapon. You shouldn't be able to kill everyone. I think it's not a game where you can just go around killing everyone. It's only certain people that when you interact with them, they kill. Like, there'll be a few places where there's a guard, and that guard you can either bribe or kill, bribe or kill, bribe or kill. And there'll be a chance of those succeeding depending on the situation. So I think we need to expand the garrison storyline because that's quite important to the end states. And then I think we're ready to start identifying all these interactions now that I understand the storylines. I realized that I was trying to do the interactions before I had the storylines, and that was stupido. Very stupido. So let's expand the garrison storyline, and then maybe I'll have a quick break to eat something, and we can watch something together. So if we just drag all of this down, all this across a little bit, this across to like here, and this line across to here, this line across to here. We've got a nice little space to do the garrison. So what are things that we could do in the garrison? So rally the garrison is the outcome. And if you successfully ticked rally the garrison, then if you've ticked rally the garrison, then good things happen. If you get the soldiers paid, or so this is either pay the commander, get commander drunk, best their champion. So if you fight the champion of the garrison and win, you gain their respect, and then they want to follow you. And maybe there's another way. Can you give the daughter to them as well? Maybe give the daughter to them. No, I think the only way, player dies is another outcome, which is another outcome of bandits attack, destroy the village, right? Is there any other way to rally the garrison apart from pay them, get the commander drunk, best their champion. So I think that's honestly fine. Or maybe there should be a ugh, nightmare. How do anyway. Best their champion. Maybe there's a like what do you call it? A coup the commander. But I think coup the commander is gonna be quite annoying to make and not that interesting because it changes a lot of things about what happens when the garrison's rallied. Whereas if either commander turns up drunk or they turn up, um, I think I prefer like this. I don't like coup the commander. I don't like that. I think these three are good. I think if you fail to pay the commander, you can get imprisoned. If you fail to help the witches, you just don't get the poison. If you fail to save the dogs, you get imprisoned. So maybe we should do imprisoned as like... There should be an escape. There should be a way to escape the prison, of course. In the imprisoned storyline, there should be a... escape prison. How can you escape prison? Imprisoned goes to escape prison. So if you escape the prison, what are the ways to escape prison? Maybe pay guard, obviously. That's one. Pick lock. And then if you can use like a weapon to pick the locks. If you use the spoon, maybe it works. But if you use the or maybe there's a let's say it's just those two for the moment. I can't think of another good one. Pay guard, pick lock. What happens if you escape the prison? What's changed? I guess certain options are just off to you. So now any guard will chase you and try and kill you. So if you've got the story, like the tag escaped prisoner, anything that patrols will try and catch you in the village. So all the guards, any bouncers for different buildings, they will all suddenly start chasing you. Maybe there's just a few guards that just patrol around. So if you escape the prison, that's just another added level of annoyance. I like the idea of having like a holy sword or something that's like some special weapon that makes all the fights really easy. But there should be some annoying thing you have to go through to get it or something. What's a funny one that could be? What if you like have to... You pay the priest, would the priest give you the sword? Probably not. What about... So... NPC chase system, then also NPC move system. Travel to location. Because I think... So that's another thing I added to the NPC system that I will put on the thing. So on characters, they need name interactant, and then other things they need are perception, patrol and move to location. And this is like functionality. They need perception, they need patrol, they need move to location. In different area. So this is like a, if you succeed or fail something and the result of that is they go somewhere, then like, so for example, when you complete Rally the Garrison, they should all go to like the entrance of the town. There needs to be a way for that to be told for them to do that. So all the guards in the garrison go to the front of the town. Yeah, there needs to be like epilogues where you've rallied the garrison, but then also kidnap and pay and like do the daughter thing. And so then you've got the situation where the bandits never show up because you've bribed them with the nobleman's daughter. All these groups. One second, I just heard something fall over. The wind has blown over a bunch of stuff on my partner's desk, so I'm going to be right back 5-10 minutes, just while I tidy that up and deal with that, because it's very windy here now. So 1 second, sorry about that. well, we have dealt with the situation, and the mirror that got knocked over is not broken. So everyone, we can chillax. In fact, actually, I'm going to move onto the floor. We are safe. So I'm going to take a break. I've made myself some delicious yogurt, strawberries and dark chocolate. Should be very good. It's very healthy. But while I eat that, let's look at I've made a playlist on my YouTube for learn more lunchtimes, because I love watching stuff where it's just like something to do, something to watch. Okay. Let's have a little look. If we go to my playlists.
Hello guys, welcome back.
No, not watch this one. Actually, this is a funny watch. Can you make a game alone in Unreal now? So let's have a look. If we just add a new source as well. Text. A source. A new source. Learn more lunch. Learn more lunchtime. Learn something lunch. And if we... What's this font? What's a good font? That's an alright font. Yeah, it's all good, it's all good. Let's do the font size. Learn something lunch. Let's have a look.
Back to another video. In this video, I wanted to answer the question, can one person make a game with UE5? In the past, game development required a team of highly specialized programmers, artists, sound designers, and much more. But thanks to some of the tools and features inside of Unreal Engine, you can now handle almost every aspect of game development on your own or with a relatively small team. From the beginner-friendly blueprint system, to the massive library of fab assets and Quixel Megascans, to the built-in plugins that save hundreds of hours, you can speed up your workflow and make your game look professional without needing a massive...
I do have to very much agree with the visual scripting part. Blueprints speed up workflow so much, I think.
Team of in-house artists. In this video, I'll explain why UE5 has changed indie game development forever, breaking down the features that enable solo developers, and sharing proven tips to improve your workflow. And a big thank you to Epic Games for sponsoring this video. Unreal Engine is currently hosting...
The fact that it's sponsored by Unreal, is that not a conflict of interest? Is that not a major conflict of interest? Or am I just crazy?
The Indie Games Week from the 13th to the 17th of April with developer interviews from inspiring indie teams and live streams to help you get started with your journey. So go ahead and check out the link in the description to the developer interviews below. And let's go ahead and jump right into the video. Unreal Engine 5 has completely changed the game for indie developers, and here's why. First, let's talk about blueprints. Blueprints are the visual scripting language of Unreal Engine. If you've never heard of blueprints or used them before, basically they're like connecting various nodes together with wires. It makes programming games incredibly easy and intuitive, even for complete beginners. If you're someone with zero coding experience or programming background, you can easily pick up Unreal Engine and start making full games just by using blueprints. In fact, many successful games have been made only using blueprints. Some indie titles that were made by solo developers...
I agree with this point, but I would point out that understanding code and code structure is still something very important. Some of the projects that I've done that are 100% blueprint and like 100% no programmer and no actual script like any C++, they've still like run shit and been shit. And maybe that's just me being bad, which it is. It's not something inherently wrong with blueprints. It's just that understanding how to structure good code and write good code is still something you need to do in Blueprint, even if you're not doing it in C++. It's just the barrier to entry is lower because you don't need to know the actual things. But the idea that you can just go from no experience in programming, opening a blueprint and being able to code is not really the realistic case, in my opinion.
That only use blueprints were actually two other creators here on YouTube. The first one being Ponty Pants, which is a developer who created the game Punch a Bunch. He used blueprints to make a boxing game, which he sold thousands of copies. Another creator who used blueprints to develop their Unreligion game was 2-Star Games, who created the hit game Choo Choo Charles, which was a massive success. He also developed his game using blueprints, but blueprints are not only limited to indie/solo developers. Some bigger studios, even AA studios, have been using blueprints to publish games. For example, Expedition 33, which won Game of the Year in 2025, was comprised of 95% blueprints. That's right, the game's code consisted of 95% blueprints, and that game won the Game of the Year award. So it's not just a question of whether you can use blueprints to make a complete game, there's already a proven track record of successful games built with them. One of the biggest advantages of Unreal Engine 5
successful games with highly skilled programmers using Blueprint. I would point out, but yeah, maybe I'm getting too hard at that point. I do agree that that's the number one reason that I use Unreal is visual scripting.
for solo developers is the amount of tools and features that essentially empower indie developers. First, let's talk about the Fab Marketplace. The Fab Marketplace is a gold mine for solo developers, offering thousands of high quality assets ranging from character models to environments to animations and particle effects. Instead of spending months trying to create a 3D asset from scratch, you can actually purchase assets or even download free assets and customize them to fit your game's art style. For example, there are loads of free assets available already on Fab, and studios like Sandfall Entertainment actually leverage these free assets when developing Expedition 33. If you don't already know, Epic Games actually gives away 6 free asset packs every single month. All you have to do is have an Epic Games account, head over to Fab, and usually the first and third Tuesday of every month, you can claim them once and you'll own them forever. This is what I've been doing, and many other developers have been doing this over the past couple of years. And as you can see, I've amassed a massive library of free high quality assets.
Yeah, I haven't been doing that. That's actually really stupid by me. That's what I should definitely be doing.
Developers over at Sandfall Entertainment also have been doing this. In one of my previous videos, I took a look under the hood and dug into some of the game files of Expedition 33, and to my surprise, we found that they actually use a lot of free assets from the monthly free giveaways. In addition to the free assets that they use, they also used a lot of paid marketplace assets and content. For example, plugins like Fluid Flux, Fluid Ninja, and much more. These are all assets that developers can buy and provide pre-built logic for your games. Another game changer that the Fab Marketplace has to offer is the library of Quixel Megascans.
One thing I will say about the prefab for like for code is that one, they can often be very specific, and two, in my experience of downloading them, using them, they're often very, very unperformant. And it's when I was developing my last big game with a team, a lot of our last bit of performance improvements was just undoing all the stuff they did that was very complicated and cool and making a simple version that we actually use in the final product, just for performance and for simplicity's sake with like other systems. I think for asset packs, 100%, they're great. And if you've got a code pack that is very integral to your game, or I think if you start just adding loads and loads of code packs, I think you can get into a state where things get very complicated and bloated very quickly.
Quixel Megascans is a library of over 1,000 free, high-quality photorealistic assets that integrates seamlessly into Unreal Engine 5. Expedition 33 also made use of Quixel Megascans assets in their game, and it's incredibly easy to use them. Whether your game needs nanite detailed assets or just LOD meshes, you can pick and choose the download quality that you need for your game. In fact, I recently used some free Quixel Megascans assets in a zombie first-person shooter game that I was working on, and for example, I used this free sandbag asset. The thing about these assets is that they come in raw photoscan detail. However, you can still choose the quality setting, and in this case I picked the low quality asset and got the optimized LOD version to fit whatever type of game you're creating. In my case, my game was targeting at least 90 FPS on the Steam Deck, and using these Megascans assets fit perfectly into my game. Unreal Engine 5 also comes with a lot of built-in tools, features, and plugins that can save hundreds of
Megascans
hours.
is an interesting one. I haven't used it recently, and I know they've done a lot of improvements to it. But I remember back in the day, I mean, the assets were just unusable. It was a nightmare. But I'm sure that's not the case now. I loved on my actual channel. I've got some old videos of me making things in Unreal using Megascans. And like it looks amazing. I remember that this was literally like one tiny scene. And it was super unperformant. And it was literally just raw Megascan assets that I installed. I mean, it does look amazing, but I mean, not as in like, oh, I'm such an artist. It does look amazing. The quality of assets is so good, but they just need to be more performant. I haven't used them in a while.
Hours of development time. In the case of Expedition 33 over at Sandfall Entertainment, they only had a team of 3 programmers. Yes, that's right, they only had 3 programmers for the entire game, and so it was critical that they used blueprints in order for the rest of the team, like the artists, etc., people who might not have had programming skills or technical abilities. It was important for them to understand what's going on, but ultimately, Sandfall Entertainment leveraged many built-in plugins and
Yeah, I think that one of the big benefits of Blueprint that gets unsung a lot of the time is that the non-programmers can understand and find it. So if you are a designer and you're testing something and you find a problem, like even though I'm not a programmer, if it was in Blueprint, I could normally at least isolate exactly which bit was broken and figure out what the problem was. And so I could then tell my programmer, oh, I'm not quite sure how I'd fix this, but the issue seems to be with this set of nodes here doing the wrong thing or giving out the wrong numbers or whatever. So I think that's a very unsung part of Blueprint, where it's so much more readable to the non-programmer eye. Whereas if you just get given a text document of errors and code and stuff, as a non-programmer, you just don't know what's going on.
features that come with Unreal Engine 5 that would normally require a massive team to develop, especially if you were to create these tools from complete scratch. For example, one built-in tool that they used was the Common UI plugin. The Common UI plugin, which works alongside other different systems like the Enhanced Input system. The Enhanced Input allows you to add various different types of inputs for controllers, PC, Xbox, PlayStation, really any platform that you want to support. You can add inputs for all the different game actions. And then with the Common UI plugin, you could program advanced UI systems that will work seamlessly on whatever platform you ship your game on. Let's say you want to develop a game for Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, and also maybe Nintendo Switch. All these separate platforms have different input layouts, different buttons, button names, and button icons. For example, on the Xbox you have the X, Y, A, B buttons, but on the PlayStation there are the square, triangle, the circle, and the X. So you'd normally have to add all the icons for the various actions and different platforms, but with Common UI you can easily set up input actions and bind them to the specific widgets so you can have it work seamlessly when you ship your game. And this of course is just one small
And this is something I definitely need to set up early on. In our last project that I was working with my team on, the project was so long lasting in terms of we were making it over 8 years almost, that the original project files obviously didn't use any of these systems because they didn't exist then. And these like base functionality systems that are to do with interacting, inputting, and all that are so much better now. And it's like also the old ones are not supported. It was a nightmare like updating things, and also things like localizing the button presses for Xbox controller versus PlayStation controller. Like it was that we had built systems for it that were just then redundant by the time this thing came around, and yeah, it was a bit of a headache. Definitely something I need to think about early on in this project.
part of the picture when it comes to making a game. There are tons of moving parts and little details in tools and cross-platform features that make cross-platform development not only possible, but also incredibly feasible for indie teams and even solo developers. And Common UI is only scratching the surface. There are other built-in plugins, tools, and features that Sandfall Entertainment
Okay, this feels a bit like I don't need to see success stories.
done in those few hours every single day, and I typically write down a daily to-do list so that when I got home from work, I wouldn't have to sit on my lines. When I was balancing game development while working a full-time, finding the time to actually sit down and work on your game when you're wearing
Yeah.
all the
Okay.
hats.
Yeah, and indie stuff. Um, Oh, cool. Well, I'll fuck on that, sorry. Um, let's hide. Let's hide lunch. Okay. So I think I'm happy with all our storylines. I think there's definitely places where we can expand and make things funnier and more interesting. Um, like my favorite at the moment is the loan shark stuff and the gambling and the things you can do with money. I really like the ability to burn different people and get different rewards. I think I like the different outcomes. The weakest for me right now is the rally of the garrison. Um, I think there might be a better way to do that. Uh, yeah, yeah. I think, like for example, yeah. I think it makes sense. I think what we should do is just fucking rip the band-aid off, open up a project, and start refamiliarizing myself with Unreal. I haven't worked in Unreal for a few weeks now. I've just been taking time off and working on game designs. I think just let's just fucking start the project and start working on these systems. Get a basic isometric thing working. Get the basic character done. Um, yeah, I think I just start there. Uh, I just want to get out of design docs at the moment. Um, do I want to get out of design docs or do I want to actually spend more time in design docs and get this working? Maybe we should update areas and the actors now we've got the system's done. So, uh, firstly, um, if you let's go through the different people and their locations. Yeah, that's a good start. We've got the beggar, lost cat, lost dog is no longer needed, gone. Patrolling guard. Uh, this is now a minor object. It's not an interaction really. Patrolling guards. Person. Dagger. Merchant's wagon is gone. Maybe we can have the merchant's wagon have oil on it. I don't know. Merchant's stall maybe is the stall. And the two farms are gone. The farm was boring. Farm gone. Farm gone. Witch's hut. Spell book. Maybe there should be another way to use the witches because maybe just poisoning is boring. Um, yeah, maybe you can get a spell book as a reward. Yeah, I like that. I don't think I like spellbook as an object. I think it should be a reward for getting given something by the head witch. So I'm going to put that as a sub thing of the head witch. Cauldron. Again. I don't think you need the cauldron as an object. Junior witch, head witch. Junior witch gives you the poison. Maybe the head witch gives you both. Is the witch's hut boring with just one interaction? I just think just have one witch. Yeah, keep it simple. Keep it simple. Kiss. Bandits camp. We have the bandit stew and chief bandit and bandit patrols. The smithy. Core objects. We don't need the smithy anymore. Smithy's gone. So we're starting to Mayor's a jewelry box, guards, that's a minor object. Party guests, servants, minor object. Lazy servant, don't need that anymore. Then we have ringmaster, person. That's good. So guards are a pretty base thing where they will either patrol or be somewhere to stop you, and you can either kill them or pay them to get through or past them. Minor objects in the church, candlestick holder, minor objects. I'm not going to worry about specific weapons and things around, like just things you pick up yet. More about that later. I like the idea of the Holy Sword of Blah. The priest, devout follower, is not important. Party guests, not important. In the church, you just have the priest, the altar, the collection tray, maybe. Maybe you don't have. Maybe you just pay the priest. I think you just pay the priest. Keep it simple. The Holy Sword of Blah is something you can get somehow. I really like the idea, but I'm not quite sure how it's going to happen just yet. But we can figure that out. The inn, chair leg, weapon call, booze, food. These are not really interactions. These are things you get from the barkeep. The barkeep gives booze. Booze gives food. Loan shark. Prostitute. I mean, do I like the idea of just paying the prostitute, and that could be something you can spend your money on? Maybe if that happened, if you pay the prostitute, at the end, when the bandits come, they kill everyone and you're having a good time. If you pay the prostitute early on, maybe she steals everything in your inventory and leaves you penniless, so you have to start from there. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's cool. Doorman, I think, is useless. Barkeep sword. I don't know how I feel about that. Drunkard, don't know if that's interesting. There needs to be some interactions that are just little mini stories that are funny on their own and not really part of any of the major stories. But let's focus on the major stories first. The messenger isn't going to stay around. That's just part of the opening cutscenes. That's not really interaction. Merchant stall, beggar, lost cat. So what I like is if you give coin to the beggar, if you give enough coin to the beggar, when you pray to God, he smites the bandits. But if you pay the priest, the God doesn't smite the bandits. I think that's funny. I think it's a good idea. Yeah, I like the idea of the last interaction of the game. If you confront the bandits, you get like 4 options instead of 2. And it's like, wow, it's a cool ending, new thing. It's 4 options. I think that's quite cool. And those odds are all decided by all the story events you've done and what you have. Like you can try and bribe them with coin or with the nobleman's daughter. Yeah, I like that. Group. Okay, so dagger, shrine guards, gambling table. I have no idea how the gambling table is going to work. So maybe we'll figure that out eventually. Maybe just one option, which is just gamble, and then you have different odds depending on something. I don't know. Maybe it's just a coin flip. It's just a 50-50, gain money, lose money kind of thing. Like 1 coin, gamble. Barkeep, loan shark, prostitute, barkeep sword. Again, the drunkard and the chair leg are pointless to note now. These are not important base things. The holy sword is quite interesting. Jewelry box, the mayor, the head witch with the spell book. Yeah, I think you should be able to buy the spell book off the head witch, and it costs like a stupid amount to get the odds in your favor. But if you burn down the church, then suddenly it's super cheap. You have spellbook, and you also have poison. The witch sells you two things, which is poison and spellbook, and the cost of them / the odds of getting them are different depending on, you know, your situation. So bandit patrols, yeah. So the bandit patrols and the guards basically do the same thing, but one's a bandit and one's a guard. They both either kill you or you can try and bribe them. I think items shouldn't have a number of uses. So if you have the holy sword, you can just go around murdering everyone. I think the bodies should be left there, but no one cares about them. We've already spoken about that. Bandit patrols, guards, mine objects in the witch's hut. Is there something you can grab that's funny? I'll think about that. I think there should be. Guards, servants. Servants aren't interactable. Just the guards are interactable. Servants just run around just to fill space. The ringmaster, the mayor's also the jewelry box. Jewelry box is how you get a lot of money if you try and steal it. But if anyone spots you in the room with the jewelry box, any guards, the cost of bribing them goes way up. And if you, there should be a way. The jewelry box should give a way for guards to chase you. That's the key thing with the jewelry box. Yeah. Everything else with the jewelry box, I think just getting lots of money is fine. There needs to be something funny that can happen by making that choice. All these choices need to be impactful and have like repercussions. Item classes. That's actually a choice thing, not an interaction thing. So in this, we should also maybe in where do you edit settings? Is it in items? No. Wait, does sub item? What's sub items? Oh, that. Oh, so we can have a parent item of the person and then the sub items of the turn on sub items. Okay. New sub item. But a sub item's the same things. Yeah. Sub items can't have different features, so it's actually not useful. More settings. How do I turn sub items? Turn on sub items. Remove properties, delete properties. Just delete. Okay. That was a moment where I thought I was excited for a second because I thought we could have the. There should be a way to do that. Fills options only. Advanced settings. Let's ask Google. On Notion, can you have sub items in a database that have separate data fields? You want... So basically, no, I can't really do that. The sub-item will always have the same properties. So... Is it useful to me? I don't think it's useful to me. I think just turn off. Thank you. Cool. I want to HP. Okay. Let's get back to the business. So I think this is now all the interactions we need for our set of things. So let's go back to our mirror board, and if we open up our this one. So if we say the gambling, we need the gambling table. Imprisoned, we haven't got the prison on here. The prison can maybe be inside the garrison. So in interactions in the garrison, we've got the prison door object. We've got the prison guard person. Prison guard is a major person because bribing or whatever makes things happen. Maybe being imprisoned also, you lose all weapons? Question mark. I don't know. We'll think about that later. So we've got those, and then escape prison. We've got that. Pay the commander. So in the garrison, we've got the commander. Get him drunk. We can best their champion. So it's no longer a trainee soldier who you're going to fight. It's going to be a champion. Cool. Right at the garrison. So in the thing here, we've got the merchant stall. You've got when you interact with the merchant stall object, you can buy or steal oil. That's good. Burn the church. So I guess at the church core objects, we need the church wood store. And in the witch's hut core objects, we need the witch's wood. Which is wood store. Great. Help the witches, you get the poison. Or you can get the poison, or you can get, what's the other one? The spell book. Yeah. Cool. Sword. So counter hit spellbook. That's all good. Enter the bandits' camp. So in the witches, poison spellbook. In the bandits' camp, we've got the chief bandit, who you can maybe bribe. Maybe you should get in there and bribe him early. It costs less, whereas if you bribe him in the village, it costs more, or something. The chief bandit, the bandit stew. You can poison them. Is there something else you can do that's funny? Sleeping bandits. Object. It's not a person, really. Is there something funny you can do if you like send them to sleep? No. I think that the only funny thing you do with the bandits is poison them. Nobles party. So in the nobles' house, we've got the mayor. The mayor's. Is it doing a mayor or just the? Yeah, sure, the mayor. Mayor's daughter. We've got the jewelry box, the ringmaster. Yeah. The ringmaster is also who you place the bet with, maybe? You can either gamble or bribe to free dogs. Maybe. But why would he let you bribe him to free the dogs? And is it more fun to do something else? Like, is there a better way to... The ringmaster is how you gamble on the dogs. Is there a different way to free the dogs? How do you save the dog? What's a fun way to save the dog? We also haven't talked about how you help the cat. I guess just give it food. How do you help the dogs? Do you cut a hole in the back of the ring for them to escape? Do you cause a distraction? I don't like things that don't make narrative sense. Maybe you go to like the kennels and free them. But then, like, how sequentially does that happen? You go to the kennels, free the dogs, and then you go back to the main room, and then the mayor's daughter's sad when she finds out. You have to wait time. I don't know. That's not really fun in my mind. Hmm. What are the other ways you can free the dogs that's funnier? Can you get the poison and then poison the ringmaster? Like, either you can gamble or offer drink. If you offer the poison, he drinks it, and then he has to cancel the fight, or like he loses control of the dogs and they all run out. That's quite funny. Ringmaster, which is either gamble or give consumable. And if you give him enough drink, he gets too drunk and lets them free. Or if you give him the poison, he, does unsavory things out of his orifices, and then the dogs get free. So he loses control of the ring. I like that. That's good. Multiple ways to do that. If you just give him food, he's like, thanks, I guess. Yeah, I like that as a gameplay loop, because if you have the... Let's think about this interaction. If you have the interaction here, like this, and it's gamble, and it's 50-50, and you go up or down with the coin. It's like 5 coin or whatever, or coin 5 up, down, 3 out of 6. And then you have your other option, which is are you supposed to like intoxicate or like intoxicate? Or maybe it's like give drink, and you have the items up and down, or the item table, and you do like, if you do like poison, it goes up to like a 6 out of 6 chance that he gets intoxicated. But then if you only give him beer, 1, whatever, then it's like a 1 in 6 chance that he gets intoxicated and lets them loose. And if this gets too high, like if you give him 10 beers, then it goes like a 6 out of 6 chance. And then, but if you like say offer him cheese, it's like a 1 in 20 chance. If you offer him bread, it's like a 1 in 50 chance that he like gets distracted by the bread and lets them loose. I think that's quite funny. Yeah, I like that. So are there any interactions here that we need that we don't have? I don't think so. I think we've got everything. Maybe we take a break and finish that video, and then start plotting out all of our things. I think I need a little mental calm down moment. History. Not what's on my history. Hopefully, it's nothing weird.
As a programmer, an artist, a level designer, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. To tackle this, you'll need to set goals and stick to a simple schedule. You have to break these goals down into simple tasks, whether that's daily tasks and weekly objectives, to keep track of your deadlines. When I was balancing game development while working a full-time job, I only had a few hours a day to work on my games, and also uploading YouTube tutorials.
What's this to do
So I
with
really had to
Unreal, though?
focus on time management. Basically, what was I going to get done in those few hours every single day? And I typically write down a daily to-do list so that when I got home from work, I wouldn't have to sit at my computer and try and figure out
I
what I was
guess
supposed to get done for that day.
it's just a general, can you make a game alone?
The most important thing is to remember that it's okay to progress at your own pace. Consistency is key, even if you can only dedicate a couple of hours a week to work on your game. Staying motivated is also another big challenge as a sole developer. This just comes with the territory when you're working alone. One resource that you can use is the Epic Developer Community. It's one place that you can document your work and share your work with other aspiring developers. Another way to stay motivated as well is to create a YouTube channel. You can create a YouTube channel.
Create a YouTube channel. Great idea, everyone. Who else had that thought? No one else had that thought. It's an original thought to my brain.
Where you just document your progress. Maybe it's just uploading a few work in progress clips of your game while you're developing so you can keep track of your progress. And another option is to follow other people who are on the same journey as you. Maybe there's other creators you can watch who inspire you along your game development journey. Now, if you're still sitting here wondering whether it's possible to actually create a game,
Let's see some success stories. Who are we going to be?
tell you that it's not only possible, but also here to show you some examples of some successful solo developers. The first example was the developer behind the successful game Punch-a-Bunch, developed entirely solo. Punch-a-Bunch is a physics-based fighting game that gained a massive popularity on Steam. Pontypants, the developer, leveraged Unreal Engine's blueprint system to create a fun, engaging game that resonates with the players. He uploaded devlogs documenting the entire game's development progress success all the way up to the launch of the game, and it was his first game that he ever made. Another standout game developer was 2-Star Games. 2-Star was the developer behind the hit success Choo Choo Charles, a survival horror game where
Were they hitting? I don't know. Am I just bad that I've not heard of these games? Choo Choo Charles. Choo Choo Charles. Mine's 80% on Steam. I mean, yeah, it is a hit success, isn't it? 11,000, very positive English reviews. What was the other one? Punch a Bunch or something.
Entirely solo. Punch a Bunch is a
Punch a Bunch. Punch a Bunch. Yeah, popular, but not as popular. Punch a Bunch. Oh, I have actually seen this game, to be fair. This one I've seen. The other one I have not seen at all. I've never seen. But it was on my recommended, I think. If I just go to store. I think it was here somewhere. Interesting. I swear I saw Punch a Bunch somewhere. Maybe it was in the thumbnail of this video, actually. Who knows?
Engine and blueprints when developing the game, and crafted an incredibly immersive world. He also uploaded devlogs documenting the progress of his game, which you can watch solo develop.
Okay, that's enough of that. We'll take that off of our lunchtime. I just wanted to finish that video. I don't know why it's stuck in my head. Okay. So now the key part of documenting and doing game design is actually being specific, writing these things down and making sure they're nice and specific. So let's go through all these objects and people and write down their specific things. Let's first just start with guard brackets basic. They are... let's make a new one which is generic. So the generic people can be anywhere. They are a person. Item classes is wrong, I think. So if we go back to our design document and say interactions, choices can have item classes, valid item classes, but interactions and people can't have valid item classes. Interactions have multiple choices. So item classes doesn't make sense here. We should just delete this, delete property. Yeah. The only thing that a person needs to know is it locked? See, even here, like the guard basic, you can interact with them. Already my table is kind of falling apart. I think the generic thing is not needed. Let's get, firstly, let's delete this. Wait. Guards are kind of their own thing because they have a few different states. They're a bit different. Actually, no, I think this is okay. Guard, generic. We'll change the generic color to like default. And it's a locked interaction and it's a person. So once you started trying to bribe a guard, you can't get out of it. If we open interaction, edit, choice 1, success failed, choice 2. Do I need any notes? Okay. All this stuff is fucking annoying. Why do I have parent item and parent item? I don't want those as things. Edit. If I go settings, property visibility, all these properties should go. Show all. Delete property. Delete. Delete property. Delete. Property visibility. Yeah, cool. So now in our guard, we create interaction. Choice 1 is bribe. Choice 2 is kill or attack. Attack is going to be a very default choice that a lot of people have, and the success will depend on who they are and who you are and what weapon you use. Success, kill, person. kill person. Fail. Player dies. Do I want player dies or do I want to get imprisoned? See, this is already feeling very binary. Like, why would you ever choose attack over bribe? Bribe, success. Pass or guard ignores you. Failure. Player dies. It seems that seems quite crazy. The fact that because player dies on our mirror board is obviously like a end state. So if the player dies, that can happen right at the beginning as soon as you start, which does seem a little bit drastic. But let's leave it for the moment. So we've got guard. Let's go back to our people, areas and their actors. Let's do lost cat, streets. Generic ones should be at the top probably. Lost cat street, and it's going to be an interaction. It's no choice 2. Success. Cat happy. Failure. Cat runs away. Feed. And already I'm seeing like multiple failure states where like if you feed the cat the poison, the cat wouldn't just run away, right? That's not fun. There needs to be some like checking of the item you do beyond just the class and the value. Because initially in the design we just said that items of a class had a value of their like chance to succeed. So if you like, but maybe interactions need to understand specific things. This is where game design gets complicated. Odds. Because odds aren't just based on the item multiplier. If the item is just like class multiplier, value of odds. Because, like, if you try and bribe the drunkard, let's say, then even if, let's say, the poison has a higher value for poisoning them, there needs to be, I think there needs to be some in the choice, in this choice feed cat. Let's say there's a data item in the game called feed cat. The choices need to involve like the success failure of the choice that can't just be based on the class and the value. It needs to have like some concept of here are all of the items and have like choice overrides. That's going to be quite difficult to manage because now all the choices have their own set of odds. So numeric design of like adjusting odds is going to be very hard if I do it that way. Of course, the other option is that we make it, rather than a success failure on the feeding the cat, you could only feed the cat if you have a particular story item like bowl of milk. If you have the bowl of milk, the cat can be fed. If you don't have the bowl of milk, the cat can't be fed. So technically speaking, it's a consumable, but the cat only wants that, so the cat can only have that. So can I waste the bowl of milk giving it to someone else? Maybe. Maybe. I think that's more interesting. Definitely more interesting. That's an interesting conundrum. What do I think is the best outcome? Hmm. Yes. So choices, valid item classes, item value overrides, and item value overrides, I think, is the most interesting version of this game. Like, sure, we could just have. Sure, you could just do it where you feed the cat. If you have the milk, it works. If you don't have the milk, you can't feed the cat. But that's kind of fucking boring, you know, as a player. Like, okay, I gotta go find the milk. But if you interact with the cat and if you try and give it stew, there's like a 1 in 10 chance. And if you have the milk, it's like a 5 out of 6 chance the cat's happy. Then that can create more funny story scenarios for you, where you've done all this stuff to get the milk, but then the cat decides not to, or you go with the stew. It's like, surprisingly, the cat loves the stew. I think that having a fun narrator voice would be cool for this game. Because that can be a way that players can get information about what the fuck's going on. Anyway, so the cat runs away. That's failure. Yeah, cat runs away and can't be fed again. Cat happy. Let's also, if we create a new page, test, and we open this page, and we just go interaction, edit. Let's also create another heading down here. Toggle heading 2, toggle heading 3, and we just do a little notes on the interaction. If we now select this one, delete it. If we open up the lost cat, has notes appeared? No. Toggle heading 3, notes. Cat loves the milk, but may eat other things if you get lucky. And then another note, which is feeding the cat makes witches happy. The witch happy. Beggar. Choice 1. Is just to give charity, which is classed as a currency type. Success is, so let's go first back to our systems. Choices, value item overrides is there. Item data default value. So a specific choice might revalue something. How we'll do that in actual code and data structure, I'm not sure about. We'll figure that bugging out. Yeah. Not sure about that one. Not sure about that one, Chief. Success for feeding the beggar is beggar happy. Failure, you don't give enough to the beggar. I mean, there's kind of like a beggar happy slash toggle heading 3 notes. Inside our notes we'll say beggar is always happy to receive point. However, if you pay enough, God will help you later. Cool. God. Toggle heading 3 notes. The notes for the guard is going to be can be lots of places if spotted in locked areas or something will give chase. New page. Let's go back to our people. So this is why being specific is helpful, because if you're being specific, that means that you'll find out all these places where your systems that you're designing are going wrong. So for example, just now we had the lost cat, and I thought, oh, it's fine, we just have a value for everything in a class. So you have like the good quality food and the bad quality food. But what if you have like the lost cat that likes milk but doesn't care about stew, and you also have someone else like the beggar who likes stew but doesn't really care about getting milk? So yeah, maybe the beggar has two things, which is give charity and slash heading 2 give food. Success, failure, beggar happy, success, beggar happy, God happy, failure. If you give the beggar food he doesn't like, runs off. The beggar acts surprisingly like a cat in this situation. I don't know how I feel about that. Anyway, next. Merchant stall. Merchant stall. It's the streets, and it's kind of a person, kind of an object. I think we'll probably class it as an object. Because if you can steal from it, it's kind of weird to interact with someone and then steal with it. Locked interaction, no. Merchant stall is not locked either. Interaction. So choice 1. I think we should reformat these as well to be choice 1, choice 1, choice 2. This formatting will be more readable, I think. Choice 1, choice 2. I think you should only be able to interact with guards who are actively blocking something or doing something. Like just the patrolling guards that will attack you if you're... nope, I'm instantly disagreeing with myself. I think like you can pre-bribe a guard before you do something bad, and then that guard won't kill you later on, you know? Won't chase you. Okay, merchant stall. Choice 1, steal oil. Choice 2, buy oil. The only thing that you can get from the merchant is oil. Steel oil matches steel. Let's call it the arson kit. Buy oil is buy arson kit. I think it's funny if you just call it an arson kit. That's hilarious. Hilarious? Maybe not, but I find it mildly amusing, and that's good enough for me. So if you succeed, gain arson kit. Failure, guards on high alert. Success, gain arson kit. Failure, merchant closes up shop. What would you like? Offended by the low offer. Failure, gain arson kit. Brackets. So I think when you try and steal the arson kit, you get the arson kit both ways, but if you fail to steal it, you actually get the arson kit, but the guards are on high alert, so it's a different thing. Notes. There are no notes for this one. No notes. Is there anything else I want to do? Yeah, so merchant stall. We won't go over the patrolling guards. That's not a note. The dagger. I think you should be able to get some weapons in some other ways, but I'll think about those later on. I think there's more interesting things to do right now. The inn. We've got the gambling table. Open. Let's also edit our interaction so that we add these little bits of text. Make it all flow a bit nicer. Great. I saved this. Wait, maybe? Interaction. There we go. Choice 1, gambling table, gamble. Interaction type object, level area, inn. The inn needs to have a more fun colour. It's going to be a fun place. Yellow. Generic, streets, inn. Is there anything other than the guards that are generic? Maybe you can have the weapon in a few places. I think there should be like a chest or something you can lockpick. Then there's somewhere you can buy a lockpick or steal a lockpick or something. Maybe if the beggar, beggar happy brackets, gives you lockpick. Beggars. If you story about destitute thief. So if you get the lockpick from the beggar, that's cool. I like that. Gambling table. Is there any other choice at the gambling table other than just leave or gamble? I think no. I think you can just. Or maybe there's a cheat. Ah, cheat. Oh my god, yes. So if you have. How would that work though? I think that's funny as fuck. But how do I make that work and be funny? So, gamble success is double money. Failure, lose money. Maybe the cheat is double money, and the failure is criminals on alert. So there's two sets of guards in the in the world. There's like the guards who are part of the garrison, and then there's like the bouncers and the underworld people. And so those people will start chasing you, but the guards don't care about you really. Like, oh, you just cheated at the fucking gambling table. Who cares? So you have a higher chance of doubling your money with cheating, but if you fail, it's much more worse. Much worse. Lose money and criminals on alert. So probably need. Oh. I imagine like the prostitute chasing you and stuff. That'd be funny as hell. And you can like fight them all off. If you have like the holy sword of whatever, you can just kill them all one by one by one. Yeah, I can see funny situations appearing. It's almost like Pokemon-esque in a sense, where like the people will like spot you and come and fight you or whatever. It's a little Pokemon in terms of like the format of the game, because like when you run into a person, it stops the game. They come up to you, and then there's like a battle. Instead of a Poke battle, it's this game of chance. I don't know. The idea has actually grown on me throughout the day. This morning, I was like really worried about if I was going to scrap it and have to do something else completely different. But it's been growing on me throughout the day. I'm seeing the fun more, but I'm also seeing the slightly expansive nature of the game in terms of animations and interactions and things that need to happen and coincide and all stuff. Anyways, we'll deal with that when we deal with that. Gambling table. That's all good. New page. Barkeep. Make an interaction. Choice 1 is buy food. Is this interesting? Should we do another buy steal? I think the stealing at the moment has too high of a cost. Like if all the criminals are chasing you. But having more people that chase you means that it's more value in making that a fun experience because we use it more often in the game. So I don't hate more people doing it, but the risk of death is a bit high at the moment, I think. And if death just ends your playthrough, it's going to promote like people being super cautious rather than doing crazy shit, which I think is less fun. Let's do what we think is more fun. So buy drink, steal drink. That's what we're saying right now. How do we get? We need to find a way to get food, but we can worry about that. You buy your drink. You success. Get drink in inventory. Failure. Failure. There isn't really a failure for that. There's just a cost. It's a more interesting way to do this interaction. You go up to the barkeep, you interact with him. You can either buy a drink, and let's say you. If you imagine here, choice A is buy drink, and it's currency. You switch between the currencies. You get like a coin. You say 5 coin. Oh, there's a 1 in 6 chance that with 5 coin it doesn't give you a drink. Do you lose the money? Are you playing that game, or is failure like he gives you a shit drink? So you always get a drink, but your chance of getting like a good quality one, like we got the Gatcha, the Valerian wine. Get nice drink in inventory. Get shit drink in inventory. Get nice drink in inventory. Failure. Criminals on alert. Great. I like that. In person. Not locked interaction, you can leave it. Barkeep. Good. Loan shark. Loan shark. Is loan shark one word? Or is it loan shark? In the inn. Not a locked interaction. Person. And the interaction is one choice, which is... No, two choices, which is... in notes, we'll have a alternate... I need to note down the stuff about the chasing shit. So choice one for success. Choice one is borrow money. Choice two is repay money. See, this is a bit of a weird interaction, because if you're borrowing money from a loan shark, you need to think about the deal and the fact that it's a short-term loan. Because at the moment, all interactions, the item is coming from your inventory. So this is now a borrow coin, and then it's just a number. So the number is not based on your inventory. So this is a new type of choice. You're not giving someone something, they're giving you something. That you can then edit it how much it is. Or maybe it's just that you... Maybe to keep it simple, we'll just do borrow 5 coin. And if you haven't got any money borrowed, it's like a 100% chance. If you've got 5 coin borrowed, it's like he might give you the money. If you've got 10 coin borrowed, he might give you the money. If you've got like 20 gold borrowed, it's like, no, there's no chances. Oh, well, maybe it will. 1 out of 6, whatever. So the odds go down the more money you have borrowed with him. I mean, that's, I think, quite a cool interaction. I'm already thinking about the new things the systems need to accommodate to make that all work. Yeah. It feels like every interaction I add, it's got a new caveat to the system. Borrow money. Let's say borrow 5 gold. We'll figure out the economy later on. Success, get 5 gold, brackets, go into debt. Failure, don't get gold, brackets, option locked, or choice locked until repaid. Yeah, so you can keep borrowing gold until you get a fail, in which case you can this choice is then locked. Or something. The concept of a choice being locked, I said I wasn't going to do. I said I was going to just do odds. Do I let players kind of break the game? If I say, don't get gold, just simply don't get gold, and they can just, if it's like a 1 in 100 chance, they can press it like 100 times. But then it's just gonna be boring waiting there for them, you know. Like someone will try it, but it's not really. I don't think it's a problem. Repay money, success. Go into debt, success. Give gold, brackets. No longer in debt. Failure. Fail to repay money. The loan shark begins chase. With the barkeep, do I want criminals on alert or just barkeep on alert? Loan shark on alert. On alert is like my way of saying we'll chase you if they perceive you. So that's the loan shark. Then prostitute, everyone's favourite character. In the inn, person, interaction, choice 1, choice 2. Okay, so let's do this one. Notes, player gains in debt debuff when it runs out, if they don't repay, if they haven't, when it runs out, the loan shark goes into alert mode. Once reaching player, choices are updated to when on alert, choices update to attack and repay money. Prostitute. I think prostitute is just a single option, right? Which is we take all this. Let's do that. Partake. Or like sample services. Success. Taken into back room. Time passes. Lose all stuff. Failure. Oh, maybe you have how much you want to pay, and if you fail, this is what happens. Taken into back room, so you don't know you fail until afterwards. You know, you think you've taken the back room, time passes, lose all stuff. Taken the back room, time passes, nothing changes. Choice 2, there's no choice 2. But she's the member of the criminal world, so she might attack you if you make criminals on alert. Notes, no notes. Notes. Inside time passes. If the day ends, it will affect epilogue. New page. Prostitute done. Barkeep sword. I don't know what to do about the barkeep sword right now. I'll just highlight this one yellow because I'm not sure what to do about weapons. I'll just put it into minor objects. Minor objects I'm not going to do yet. I'm just going to do core objects. Oh. think I'm happy with how things are starting to shape up. We're getting towards the end of today's stream. I'm going to keep pushing through. Maybe try and get the church and the nobles done or something. I'm not going to get them all done before I need to head out. I'm going to meet my partner. So, the church, we've got church wood store. And this is interaction type object, level area, church. This one's got to be a churchy kind of color. Maybe like, maybe orange is the church, or yellow the church, and the inn is. He's got the prostitute in it. Let's add the interaction type. It's not a locked interaction. Choice 1, burn church. Success, church burns. Failure, nothing. So this is more of a just a check. If a nothing happens on failure, if on the failure does the priest spot you and then the guards are alerted? Maybe priest spots you, guards on alert. Note. Arson kit is high chance for success. I like that it is buying an arson kit because also buying an arson kit, whilst it sounds silly, it is a useful tool for a game designer because you can say, look, here's this thing. It's like a Chekhov's gun. If you get given something called Arson's Kit, you're like, oh, I'm going to be able to burn something down if I try. Okay, so church wood store, priest. He's a member of the church. He's a person. Choice 1, attack. Choice 2, choice 2, pay. Pay. Homage. Success. Lose money. I guess pay homage doesn't know how it's just a 100% no matter how much you pay, right? It's just you lose more or less. Lose money. Failure. Lose money. Nothing happens. You can just pay the priest for no purpose. If you attack the priest, success. Kill priest. Brackets. Improves standing with witch. Failure. Priest runs away. Brackets. Guards on alert. I think the guards shouldn't. I don't think I'm going to try and do like a guards in the church seeing you kill the priest and they go on alert. I think that's too complex. I think just failure, the priest runs away, guards on alert. Then the priest is then no longer findable. Kill. So you need to burn the church down or something. Yeah. Notes. Paying the priest does nothing apart from lose you money. Bit of satire. Priest. Altar. The altar is in the church. It is an object. And you only have one thing to do, which is pray. There's no choice. Pray. Maybe use money to pray. Success. Brackets. Time passes. You pray. Failure. Not. Brackets. Time. Time. Nothing. Priest. Money. Or prostitute. Where was the failed nothing? Is there a nothing? I think with the altar, nothing should happen if you fail. There's no way to fail praying. It's just like time passes. Notes. Need to track how much you have prayed as it increases chance for end smiting. That's like new in the systems where like a story event has like a counter or some kind of value attached to it. So we need to figure out how we might store that data. Maybe we should note that down somewhere. Choices, story event self, time, the player. Firstly on time, the player can speed up time if they want. Because if like you're locked in jail, but you just want to see what happened if you finish the story, you can like speed up time to the end, or maybe even just like a skip to end button. But I think just a speed up time, because if someone's trying to speed run something and they were waiting for a specific guard patrol or something, I think you can just hold a little button and it speeds up time. So story event self, story event multipliers. So in choices, story event. Yeah. Story. Yeah, I'm not sure where to put this note about the story events yet. Interactions, choices. Yeah, I need to think about story events. That's quite a complex thing. I don't know how I want to organise that. Interesting. I need to think about that. Maybe I'll just do a little section down the bottom, design docs, do a little toggle heading 4 at the bottom, which is just notes for later. Story event design. How do these get structured? Probably need some counter or number variable known brackets praying. Cool. Let's go back to our areas and their people. In the church. The Holy Sword of Blah. I don't know what to do with the Holy Sword of Blah yet. Maybe you can only get it if you kill the priest. I don't know. I'll think about that later. I want to figure out a new storyline to get some OP weapon that means you can basically kill everyone, because that can give you some funny endings. Because at the moment, killing people is quite risky, because if you die, your story ends. But if you get the holy weapon, whatever, you can kill everyone, no matter what. It's just 100% chance to kill everyone, and so then there's a whole different vibe to the story. Then, you know. Yeah. The mayor. Okay. So next we have the noble's house. Noble's house. Open. The mayor. I'm not sure what actual purpose the mayor has. Maybe he's actually just a visual thing. Maybe we can't interact with him. Maybe like buy daughter. Success. Gain daughter. Right. Failure. Guards on alert. Choice 2, nothing. I think at the moment. It's a person. It's not locked interaction. So we say the mayor's daughter. It's in the noble's house. It's a person. Again, there's only one option here, so we can delete choice 2. Choice 1 is kidnap. Success. Gain daughter. Brackets in inventory. Failure. Daughter runs away. Bracket. Dash. Guards on alert. I don't think you should be able to kill anyone. Like, you shouldn't be able to kill the guard, the mayor or the mayor's daughter or whatever. I think that kind of makes it boring if everyone has the option to just stab them, stab them, stab them, stab them. I don't know. That seems kind of simplistic and boring. And also opens up a whole can of worms with weird storylines that could emerge. Notes. Kidnapping her changes chances drastically if she is in her room or at the party. I'm kind of making like 2D simplistic Hitman at this point. It feels like the jewelry. Fucking hell. What is wrong with me? Double R. Jewelry box. Noble's house. Object. Interaction. Choice 1. Take jewelry. Success. Gain jewelry. Jesus, I probably sound like an absolute idiot speaking like this, but whatever. That's how dyslexic people type. Failure. Is there a way to fail taking it? I think there's nothing. Nothing. No failure. You can't fail taking it. Notes. If a guard spots you in the jewel room, they instantly go on alert. Do that one now. Ringmaster. The ringmaster. He's in the noble's house. He's a person. And interaction. Choice 1 is gamble. Success. Gain money. Lose money. It's just a 50-50 on the gamble. Choice 2. Offer treat. Give gift or something like that. Success. Ringmaster loses focus and dogs escape. Failure. option locked. So there'll need to be a thing where options can get locked if they fail. So in choices, choices has 2 plus outcome fail. Some choices become locked on failure. Choices can become locked on failure. Brackets, not always. Option locked. Note, give gift. Drink, poison, things like that to make it work. Brackets for higher chance. That's the ringmaster. So let's go back to areas and actors. Guards, whatever. Maybe we need to note guards now. Guards are just a thing. The garrison. What did I do for the check later? What did I put in minor? Okay, sword, minor, guards, prison guard, door guard, commander, champion. Yeah, those are all the important actors. There's not actually that many things specifically, you know? Maybe this game is doable and could be fun. Let's finish up the noble. Oh no, we just finished the noble's house. Okay. The garrison of which is Hunt and Bandit camp, I will do later or tomorrow. But I'm going to stop the stream there for today. I'm a bit tired, and I've got to get ready to go see my partner. So I will see you all later. Thanks for watching. Today was pretty good. I think I actually locked down this idea a bit, and I've got a better understanding of how it's actually going to be fun and how they're going to work. The documentation process is getting better. I think we've still got another day of documenting this and taking these things, the core mechanics and movement systems and that stuff, and properly denoting how those are going to work. So yeah. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next stream. Have a good evening, everyone, and love you all.